So the kit reveal for Ezra Bridger dropped recently, and it does bring us a little bit of information about what we can expect for GL Ahsoka Tano, and it's got a few worrying things. First and foremost, I was kind of wrong about some stuff, but also kind of right about some stuff in my recent video. Let's talk about it. Here we have Master Ezra Bridger in Exile, the brand new kit reveal for the new Conquest unit that's starting on Monday. Don't worry about that, guys. I will have video guides out for that very quickly, so we can all start working towards new Ezra. And you're going to want to work towards new Ezra because he's absolutely, certifiably off the frickin' chain. He is so strong. It makes me wonder just how bad a GL Ahsoka is going to be without him, because he seems to be packing all the power. Kind of interesting. So I want to talk first and foremost about this new tag that we've got. We've got the new Spectre tag come for Ezra Bridger, and that basically tells us what the new tag is for GL Ahsoka. It's not going to be Ufu. Well, she will have Ufu, but it's not going to be an Ufu team. It looks like it's going to be a Spectre team. If you're asking who the Spectres are, that's basically the Phoenix faction that we have right now. So the Phoenix faction as we have them in game is Hera and Kanan and Sabine and Ezra and Chopper and Zeb. Right, and we also have Captain Rex. Now, the Spectre faction is literally these guys. If you watch the Rebels show, they are called the Spectres or the Spectre Cell or whatever you want to call them. They are a Splinter Cell, essentially, or a Splinter Cell. That was a great game series. They are basically a faction within the Phoenix faction that they operate. You know, Kanan and Hera were the leaders of that faction. They brought Ezra on board, and then Zeb and Chopper were also part of the team. Captain Rex, I think, just got it historically because of some interaction with the Phoenix throughout the Rebels TV show. So it begs the question, really, why are we getting the Spectre tag? They are all Spectres already except for Captain Rex, and maybe that's part of the concern. Maybe they wanted to build some specific synergies that only apply to Spectres and not to Phoenix. Are we going to have these historic Phoenix characters get the Spectre tag? Maybe, who knows? I don't know. It's all just conjecture at this point. We can make assumptions, right? All of these guys are Spectres, so they could well get the Spectre tag. But why bring in the Spectre tag when they could have just given Ezra Bridger Exile the Phoenix tag? That's usually got to do with creating unique synergies. We can see it a lot in Ezra Bridger's kit himself, the exiled Ezra Bridger kit. If we go ahead and check out some of his abilities over here, for example, his absolutely freaking broken ability, Kanan's Legacy, this has got call-outs to Spectres, so maybe this Spectre tag is not going to be given to all characters of the Phoenix faction. Maybe it's not going to go to Captain Rex, for example. Maybe the Spectre faction tag even goes towards Ahsoka Tano Fulcrum, but I think that's got some issues in and of itself that I guess we can talk about very quickly right here, right now. So my only real concern with us giving the Spectre tag to the unaligned Force user Ahsoka Tano Fulcrum is that she does have a Territory War Omicron that only applies in two unique circumstances. One, she is either alone going in solo against teams, or two, she's in a team with Cal Kestis when he has his Omicron. His Omicron ability literally lets her use her Omicron ability in a full team. Kind of weird. So if she becomes a staple, which is, I kind of doubt it, if she becomes a staple of the new GL Ahsoka team, it means that her unique Omicron over here will never apply in Territory Wars unless you throw in Cal Kestis with his Omicron in the team as well. And that then starts to pull the team apart a bit, because then I can't see Cal Kestis getting the Spectre tag, can you? I don't see that happening. So it just kind of fits a little bit weird. I don't think it's going to happen quite like that, unless you guys think, oh, who cares about Territory War Omicrons, and I wouldn't be surprised if you took that route. I just think it breaks up stuff that doesn't need breaking up, per se. So going back to our good man, Mr. Ezra Bridger in Exile, or Eb, I don't know what we're going to call him. Ezra Exile, EE. Oh, that's a character from Metal Gear Solid 2. Anyway, it just kind of raises some interesting questions about why bring in the Spectre tag unless they're going to give it to only the old Phoenix. I still think, as I maintained in my video not too long ago about the future requirements of Set 3 and Set 4 of the GL Ahsoka requirements, I still think we're getting a full team built for her. I still think we get Padawan Sabine. I still think we get Hu Yang. I still think we have a very high likelihood of getting General Syndulla as requirements, and I think they'll all be Spectres. I think there will definitely be the capability to have a full Spectre faction, and yes, I do think that Ahsoka Tano Fulcrum is going to have the Spectre tag. Now, they might have a team for her that isn't actually all Spectres. Maybe she doesn't have it, but because she's got online Force users, she's gaining some of the benefits, for example. But I just can't see it that way. I feel like it's always going to be a full faction with all the correct tags. Maybe it won't. Who knows? But yes, I still absolutely think that the marquees that I predicted to come out for the game are still going to come. It makes no sense, in my opinion, to have a GL Ahsoka Tano without a Padawan Sabine to go alongside it. Now, whether Padawan Sabine and Hu Yang and General Syndulla become requirements for GL Ahsoka Tano, or if they get mixed in with requirements either for Balin's Skull, or potentially if the Great Mothers is actually a legendary unlock rather than a marquee, who knows? I've got no frickin' clue. We're all just guessing right now. One thing is for sure, though. Ezra is just off the chains strong. So powerful. So very powerful. Look at his basic alone. Physical damage to the target enemy inflicts speed down for 3 turns. If it crits, Ezra is going to grant another ally foresight, as well as himself foresight for a turn, and stagger the enemy for 2 turns. So that's pretty cool. And he's got a lot of baked-in crit chance. Kanan's Legacy is unbelievably powerful on a cooldown of 4 with an Omicron. Okay, so this is an AoE heal, 40% both health and protection. That's not too bad, but it doesn't end there. If it is a Spectre ally on the team, they're going to gain protection up of 50% protection up for 2 turns, and they're going to be cleansed of all debuffs. This kind of reminds me of the old Kanan second special, where he just dispels or cleanses all Phoenix allies. The target other ally is also going to attack alongside Ezra Bridger, doing 40% more damage. That's kind of reminiscent of old Ezra's second special. I can't remember what it's called. He's got a call to assist that's got some unique benefits. But not only that, they're going to gain additional bonuses based on their tags. If they're Jedi, they're going to gain Tenacity up. If they're Unlined Force user, they're going to get Defense up. If they are Spectre, they're going to gain Backup Plan for 2 turns, which can't be copied or dispelled. They also get Riposte for 2 turns, which means you attack under protection when you're attacking out of turn. Isn't that wonderful? Actually, it's not even when you're attacking out of turn, it's just attack under protection. Not only that, not only are we getting an AoE heal with an AoE cleanse on all Spectres, with a call to assist, with also granting additional buffs and dealing 40% more damage. Not only that, if their target ally is either Jedi, Unlined Force user, or Spectre, they're going to gain a bonus turn. Isn't that? Not only are they getting a bonus turn on top of all the other benefits, they're also going to get 100% offense if they're a Spectre ally, and they will dispel all buffs on the target enemy, and they're going to blind them for 2 turns, which can't be evaded. They're going to do this, and this, and this, and this, and then they're going to go home to your mother, take her out for a nice seafood dinner, and probably call her again and become your new daddy. That's what Ezra Bridger in Exile is going to be doing. Ezra is then also going to get 2 stacks of Resilient Defense, which is the taunt mechanic that Mace Windu has. So there's a taunt there on the team as well. And he's going to gain 2 stacks of, he's also going to gain 5 stacks of Purgil Migration, which is another thing to try and get rid of this Exile buff that he's got on him. If you've got the Omicron on him, which is Grand Arena Omicron, so we've got a GL lifter with triple GAC Omicrons. That's just next level crazy. He's going to gain an additional 25 stacks of Purgil Motivation, and all Spectre allies are going to gain Backup Plan for 2 turns, which can't be dispelled. Now, Backup Plan, if you don't remember what it is an instant revive. It's a locked revive for, it used to be Phoenix, but now it's going to be, Spectre's allies instead. So yeah, they'll just come back to life. Isn't that wonderful? So his second special is Daring Advance. For some reason, they've still got the animation of Kanan's Legacy on here. Kind of interesting. This one, again, is also kind of crazy. Ezra hits the person 3 times. Each hit, it can inflict heal immunity and offense down for 2 turns. These 2 cannot be resisted, so you're going to get heal immunity, you're going to get offense down. If you critical hit on each one of those 3 hits, it's going to reduce the enemy's defense by 30% for each crit, essentially. So you crit 3 times, 90% defense reduction for 1 turn. This attack has also got 10% additional crit chance for each Spectre ally, so if you've got a full team of Spectres, that's 50% additional crit chance on this hit, and if Ezra scores a crit on each one of those hits, it's kind of like Fulcrum's attack, I guess her whirlwind, right? The enemy's going to be stunned, which you can't cleanse. Oh, and it can't be resisted. So it's like, oh god, don't let him crit 3 times. And it's also got a GAC Omicron. This one over here, if it crits, for each crit scored, you deal 20% damage based on the target's max health. So 20% max health damage, which can't be evaded. You also put buff immunity, heal immunity, and offense down for 2 turns, which cannot be dispelled or resisted. and then you reduce the cooldown of this ability by 1. Just what? So if you crit each time with this, you reduce the cooldowns by 3. It's got a cooldown of 3. With the Omicron on this ability, you can spam it constantly if you keep critting. Constant spam. Constant spam. Spam forever. Constantly reducing the enemy's defense. Constantly doing max health damage to them. Constantly also stunning them, which can't be resisted. It's just like, I beg your pardon? And then, if you get bored of using that ability, you go back and use Kanan's Legacy and get a boatload of buffs. And we're still not finished. He also has the Exile unique. Start of battle, all light side allies are getting Foresight for 2 turns. Always useful to have Foresight at the start of battle. All Spectre allies are also going to get Tenacity up for 2 turns. Ezra Bridger is going to get Exile. So what does Exile do? It's really interesting, actually. The first time you get it, because Exile can actually be passed, you're going to gain 30% additional crit chance, 60% defense, and 100% max health and protection for the rest of battle. It's not while the buff lasts, just rest of battle. 30% additional crit chance. We know that already helps him with his second special, for example. Already very, very useful. Loads of defense, loads of max health, loads of protection. When you lose Exile, because you can lose it with the Purgle Migration, essentially, you're going to gain an extra 30% crit chance, but 60% crit damage, offense, potency, and 30 speed. So boatloads of additional stats after you get rid of Exile. It's insane. So basically, the first time Ezra gets exiled, which is going to be at the start of turn, enemies can't assist or attack again if they're targeting him. Now, don't forget, he can also put resilient defense on himself, kind of forcing him to be a pseudo-tank, and that means they can't assist. So things like Imperial Troopers, no mass assists. Geonosians, no mass assists. Luthen, no mass assists under a Momo team. CLS, no mass assists. Like that sort of business. That's all really, really good. Excuse me. When he loses it for the first time, when he performs an ability, he's also going to call a random ally to assist. Kind of similar to Captain Rex, but it's a random ally. It's still very useful. Allied Spectres also have instant defeat immunity, not while he has Exile, just for the entire battle. If Ezra is alive, you can't be killed by insta-kills. That means no Nihilus, no bounty hunters with OG Mando. That means Jabba the Hutt cannot eat people with his Rancor. It's just, instant defeat immunity as long as he's alive is crazy. That's so, like, if he's got all his defense, max health and protection, you can't even beat him. You can't take him out. Oh my gosh. But what does the Exile buff/debuff actually do? Whilst you have it, you can't attack, gain buffs, or gain other positive effects during another character's turn. So he can't assist, he can't gain buffs by anybody else, or any of that business. Raid bosses in Galactic Legends instead just can't gain buffs, and any characters who damage them get crit damage up or health steal up for 1 turn, which is useful, because if an enemy GL actually steals your Exile, that means they can't gain buffs and they can't assist an attack out of turn, but also when you hit them, you're getting crit damage up, which is kind of nice. So, in Grand Arenas, it also has an Omicron. The first time a Spectre ally gains and loses Exile, they also gain 5% mastery per relic level on them. So he's going to get it at the start of battle, which means he's going to get 5% mastery per relic level. If he's relic 9, for example, he's going to gain 45% additional mastery. And the first time they lose Exile, they gain an additional 30 speed. These bonuses persist through defeat, which means there could be a revive mechanic on the Ahsoka Tano team, which I think will happen. I've theorized this with Ahsoka Tano's ultimate that I think is going to be. So I think there is going to be an AoE revive on the team as part of her ultimate. It's going to tie in with the World Between Worlds and all that sort of business. If you want to hear about that more, ask me sometime in a live stream. Unique 2, the Force is my ally. Unlock at tier 6. Ezra has also got 20% crit chance, so he's already gained, up to 60% from Exile. He's gaining 20% here. That's an 80% additional crit chance, and, that second special ability has got an additional up to 50% crit chance there, so he's going to be critting all the time. And whenever he's inflicted with a debuff, he's going to recover 25% health. This is more kind of Phoenix synergy again, or Phoenix similarities, I suppose. Light side allies can't have their cooldowns manipulated by enemies. How cool is that? So They can't increase your cooldowns, but you can decrease your own cooldowns, so who knows, maybe we're going to have some more cooldown reduction. When Ezra uses an ability, he gains 5 stacks of Purgle Migration, maximum of 50. When he hits 50, he is then going to be able to get rid of Exile, essentially. When he deals damages to an enemy, he's going to gain 2 stacks of Purgle Migration. If the attack is a critical hit, he gains 5 stacks, and he's going to be critting a lot. So it won't take too long to actually hit 50 stacks of Purgle, especially if you've got those Omicrons. The second special is going to be doing, triple attacks, 3 times damage. All of them are going to be crits potentially. That's going to be, an extra 15 stacks of Purgle Migration. If you use the first special, it's going to get 25 stacks. You could get it done in like 2 or 3 turns. When he reaches 50 stacks, he's going to gain a bonus turn, recover all of his max health and protection. The next enemy that damages Ezra with any sort of ability is going to be exiled for the rest of battle, which can't be copied, dispelled, evaded, or resisted. And all enemies are inflicted with ability block for 1 turn, which can't be copied, dispelled, evaded, or resisted, and Ezra loses exile. So there's something interesting here. You basically pass that exile. The enemy can't remove exile because they don't gain Purgle Migration, unless there's something that comes with GL Ahsoka's kit that helps us take it back. I don't know. But essentially, what's going to happen is that enemy is going to gain a bunch of crit chance, some defense, max health, and protection for the rest of the battle. So that's going to be a little bit painful, but the buffs that you get as part of it, and the fact that Ezra can now assist and attack out of turn and gain buffs and all that sort of thing, is probably going to be a good thing. It's going to make for an interesting dynamic, but I can't help but feel that GL Ahsoka Tano without Ezra is not going to be the same sort of thing. So make sure you guys are red boxing Conquest. And with that, guys, I'm going to close it out. Let me know in the comments section down below, how wrong do you think I am? How right do you think you are? And what do you think about new Ezra? Make sure you check out my new Conquest guides. They will be coming very, very shortly. Peace out. May the Force be with you, and big love to you all.